Coming up in today's video. Follow along as I revisit my ruby friend, the spider lily, and learn more about this equinox flower. It's rained for 2 days straight. Though there's still rain on the forecast today, there's also mention of dry spells scattered throughout. So I thought I'd venture out yet again to visit my ruby friends. Today I decided to dress in traditional Chinese hanfu of a bright red to connect more deeply with these scarlet beauties. It wasn't long before it started to drizzle again, and so I took shelter in a sweet little pavilion after trying to chase a kitty cat. We've had quite harsh weather this week, and yet I'm so pleased to see that the spider lilies here have continued to stand tall with heads held high, and even seem more vibrant than ever from the heavy kitty cats that have fallen. The flower has a special ability to bloom even in harsh conditions, and so can also be seen as a symbol of resilience and perseverance. I find they can be a nice little reminder to keep going when alone and facing life's challenges. So may we all, like the spider lily, persist to overcome trials and tribulations with grace and strength. May we hold our heads high and dance through the wind and rain. I love dancing in wind and rain, though I shan't today, as the rocks here are slippery and I've only just recovered from a small ankle injury. Another symbolic meaning of the spider lily is change, transition and transformation, and thus new beginnings. This stems from the plant's unique trait of flower and leaf never coinciding. Blossoming at Mabon, a time of change and transition, they naturally underscore the importance of appreciating every change in life. Blooming for only a short period, their distinctive look and bright red blossoms instantly attract attention to their transient beauty, calling us to live in the moment and to appreciate the beauty of what's right in front of us. Sinking deeper past their captivating appearance, meditating on the somber themes of death they embody also bring us to contemplate the passage of time, and how with death comes a new beginning. Speaking of new beginnings, it is here that red spider lilies symbolize the process of dying and being reborn, or transitioning from one phase of life to another. Having myself left the UK recently and begun to start things anew here once more, I felt much more of a stronger connection to the spider lily than ever before. After many changes in my own life the past 3 years, this really feels like being reborn as I enter into a new chapter of my life. Though I'm in a familiar place, almost everything at the same time feels completely different, mostly because I'm different. I'm the same, and yet I'm different. Some rebirths have been almost instant, and yet some have taken a longer transitional process. For the spider lily, the change begins quite quickly. For after the flowers have faded, the leaves within a week or so suddenly begin to emerge. They're a dark green colour with a hint of blue, and look quite similar to the leaves of daffodillies. They do take a while to form, but when they do, they eventually can reach up to 30 centimeters, and sometimes a bit more. These leaves are strong and last all through winter, and only start fading away sometime during late spring. So rather than just thinking about death, we can choose to focus on the plant's transition. It may look different, it may have lost its vibrant color, but it is still as much alive and as beautiful as it was before. And as for its rebirth, the spider lily is in a way reborn twice. Reborn as the leaves with the wilting flower, and reborn a second time into the flower with the death of the leaves. Last time I visited spider lilies, I talked about how in the Chinese language of flowers, they represent a captivating beauty. Today, I want to look at its meaning in Hanakotoba, the Japanese language of flowers. In this tradition, the red spider lily can represent abandonment, never to meet again, and final goodbyes. In various legends, it is said that if you encounter someone you may never meet again, red spider lilies will bloom along the path. Due to these stories, the plant has become associated with final goodbyes. And so in Japan, they are generally not the flower to give to friends or family. In fact, they are considered quite inappropriate for most occasions. Saying that, one occasion that the spider lily is perfect and often used for in Japan is Higan, which is a Buddhist holiday celebrated around Mabon, the autumn equinox. In fact, the Japanese common name for Lycoris radiata is Higanbana, which literally means the flower of Higan. This is also one of the most common names for the spider lily in China too. Bianhua, the flower of Bian. These names come from the Buddhist term Higan or Bian, which means the other shore or the other side, and the Japanese Bana or Chinese Hua, which means flower, making it the flower of the other shore. Here, the other shore or other side is where earthly matters are replaced with enlightenment and non-physical existence. In many Buddhist traditions, practitioners will celebrate the arrival of autumn at Higan with a ceremony at the tombs of their ancestors. At this time, bouquets of red spider lilies are often placed at their ancestors' graves as a tribute to the dead. It is also common practice to plant red spider lilies on and around grave sites at this time. Here, the blooms are used for both farewells and remembrance. They're given as a token of love and serve as a moment to remember, appreciate, and celebrate the souls that have departed. As such, it here becomes a contemplative object for life's transience once again. But there's still more to it than that. According to some Chinese and Japanese legends, red spider lilies are connected to the afterlife. There are various stories of them being flowers that bloom in the underworld, and in some of these tales, they guide lost souls into their next life by highlighting the path to reincarnation and providing them protection on their journey. These stories, influenced by the Chinese translations of the Buddhist Lotus Sutra, solidified its role as a goodbye flower used at Higan. The flowers provide both comfort to those left behind and also act as a token of love and wish for protection when given as an offering for a smooth passage for the dearly departed. The red spider lily has been a source of inspiration for many writers, poets, and artists. We see the emergence of the spider lily recorded in Chinese culture for the first time in the Tang Dynasty, over 1,000 years ago. This was the prosperous golden age for China, when Buddhist shrines and temples spread across the country, and Buddhism enjoyed a lot of support from the imperial house. We see the spider lily appear in Chinese poetry from this period. In the complete compilation of Tang poetry, Quan Tang Shi, there is recorded a poem by an anonymous poet. 彼岸花开，开彼岸，望穿河畔亦望穿，奈何桥头空奈何，三生石上写三生。The other shore blooms, bloom on the other shore. Beside the river of forgetfulness flows, the river of forgetting. The oblivion bridge is empty, all oblivion. 3 lives are writ upon the stone of 3 lives. Of course, the lily is recorded in Buddhist scripture. 彼岸花开1000年，落1000年，花叶永不相见。情不为因果，缘注定生死。In this poem, it expresses the idea that the spider lily blooms for 1,000 years and the blossoms fall for 1,000 years, but the leaf and the flower will never meet. The final line reminds us that love does not appear as a logical result of doing something. Love is fated to happen, and if fated, it will appear in our lives. This destiny is the same one that decides when we will leave this world. The Mabon equinox, red spider lily flower, is a cauldron of spiritual symbolism and significance, which has sparked centuries of enchanting folktales and cultural traditions. The presence and initial appearance of this seductive scarlet flower in my life has a very special meaning to me, and its blossoms and tales continue to captivate me more and more each year. There is so much more to this flower than I've been able to share, but we've come to the end of its season, and so it's farewell for now, until my ruby friends emerge again. Thank you for joining along with me on today's journey. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and remember to subscribe and comment for more content. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!